We do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it.
Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. So what are NGOs? They've been in the news quite a bit of late. I'm sure you've seen that. And could they be at the very center of deep state corruption and power? Well, NGOs are supposed to be private organizations that operate independently of any government. That's why they're called non-governmental organizations. But we're quickly learning that this is not the case. I know, surprise, surprise. Elon Musk and his team at Doge are uncovering not just massive fraud and corruption in federal spending, but the inner workings of the deep state uniparty itself. Now, for years, billions of dollars of taxpayer money have been funneled to these nonprofit organizations. We have to put nonprofit in quotes there. These organizations, as I said, are supposed to be independent, operating completely outside of government control. But in reality, most are run by Democrat politicians in the DC swamp. Today, we're going to blow the lid off what could be the biggest scandal in American history. And here to help me is my good friend, Ross Givens. Ross is the leading expert on insider trading, all things corruption. The research performed by him and his team is second to none, and you won't believe what he has to share with us. He's also holding a free training event this Thursday where he's going to show people how to make money by following these trades. There's a link in the description down below where you can sign up for that. But Ross, great to see you as always. Thanks for being with us. I don't know, half the time whenever you're on, I get so fired up and mad. I don't know if I want to invite you anymore, but you blow the lid off this stuff, man. You're amazing.
Well, thanks for having me on anyway. I appreciate it, even if it does anger you.
That's right. I took my blood pressure medicine. We're okay. We're all right. So, yeah. So talk to us about these NGOs, because a lot of our viewers probably aren't very familiar with them.
Yeah. So originally, NGOs, these non-government organizations, were created to support U.S. efforts abroad. So a lot of them came out like after the Cold War to combat the spread of communism, which I think we can all get behind. But once the Soviet Union fell, once the Cold War is over, their original purpose kind of faded. So instead of dissolving, government never just dissolves,
right.
They redefined their mission. And so now they position themselves as the guardians of democracy itself. And so
yes.
This big shift to me, and I've read your book, I think you'd agree on this, explains a lot of why Trump's reelection, they were so adamant on framing it as a threat to democracy.
Obsessed.
Because
they were obsessed.
Yeah, because to these NGOs, democracy means them. They think
Right.
they are democracy. So their survival depends on maintaining that role. And any challenge to their authority is perceived as a direct attack on democracy itself, even though Trump's the furthest thing from an attack on democracy. But
right. Being voted in, of course. Right. Yeah.
Right. Now, there are hundreds and hundreds of GMOs, but I sent you an image. These 7, based on what I've seen and what some people smarter than me have found, really represent the uniparty. And each of these organizations, you can see, get substantial financial support from USAID or the Department of State. And they've all got their cute little names, right? The Center for International Private Enterprise or the Consortium for Election and Political Process Strengthening. But they're so far from
so
their
precocious.
name.
I hate it.
I mean, so just this consortium one, right? This the Center for International Private Enterprise. So their stated mission is to promote democracy and free markets through a business-oriented approach. But its actual activities are so fuzzy. They don't disclose anything in the IRS filings. The majority of their expenses go straight to salaries and a broad other category they just didn't give any details on. The National Democratic Institute, it's headed by, just vile, terrible people. Stacey Abrams, Donna Brazile, just these wretched MAGA-hating Democrats. So Of the $167 million it received, of taxpayer money, mind you, $81 million went to their salaries.
Dang.
Another
Dang,
$14 million is listed as fringe benefits, Dr. Steve. So, in other words, they're siphoning tax dollars, often right back to themselves.
Yeah, this is why I have to take my blood pressure medication every time you're on. We actually talked about this on our channel a couple of days back, but you've got the real receipts here. So, bottom line, if to sum up, as it were, politicians set up these NGOs. They funnel tons of taxpayer monies to them in the name of protecting democracy. Then the NGO pays them and their friends millions in salaries and consulting fees and travel expenses. Is that the basic business model here? Does that sum it all up?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And so I think this is why DC is really panicking over what Elon and the Doge guys are doing, because this new administration, Trump's guys, are taking away their honeypot.
Yeah, right.
The grifters are losing their scam is really all this is.
Well, and again, I've had you on so many times, 24 times. I wish I could say this is shocking, but unfortunately, it's just par for the course here. You've opened up a lot of eyes over the years to just how deep the corruption goes in DC, especially when it comes to insider trading. In fact,
sure.
They're so dirty. You've made a career out of just following their stock trades. I want to talk to you a bit more about that in a minute. But gang, if you don't know, Ross is holding a free training event this Thursday, February 20th, 3 p.m. Eastern, where he's going to show you how to piggyback on the trades of these insiders. Very eye-opening stuff. Again, keep in mind, those trades are basically their business model, how they show up in DC and always leave all the richer, except for Donald Trump, of course. It's really eye-opening stuff, and the results have been incredible. Be sure to click in the link in the description below to register for that event. It's a free event. It's online, so anyone can attend. But when these politicians aren't gaming the stock market, Ross, you're saying they're basically, when all is said and done, they're raiding the U.S. Treasury, the very U.S. Treasury that some activist judge said the Secretary of the Treasury is not allowed to examine.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know. And this is it's so much worse. And Trump, as good as he is, I don't feel like he fully articulates things as bad as they are. He doesn't lay it all out like Elon does. But this is why he shut down USAID last week. You know, they had 12,000 employees. I think he fired everybody but a couple hundred of them, froze their spending because our politicians have used the USAID as a giant shell company. It is a way for them for dirty politicians to launder money, often right back to themselves. I mean, USAID, Dr. Steve, is spending $150 million a year on a program to import Syrians to Norway. Okay, how much of that money do you think went right back into the pockets of these politicians and their friends? I mean, the Department of Agriculture just terminated 18 contracts thanks to Doge. $9 million contracts for, I can't make this up, Central American Gender Assessment Consult Services. Brazil Forest and Gender Consultant Services. I mean, I didn't even know this was a thing, but it's our money they're spending on this.
It's unbelievable. And why on earth would it be a priority for this country? I'm being obviously facetious here, but to fund Syrian immigration to Norway. I mean, it does nothing to advance our interests. All it does is put us further in debt. I mean, I'm gobsmacked. Yeah. Why do you think, I mean, again, you've been following this for years now. Why do you think more Americans are not absolutely livid over this? Because it seems like Republicans are the only ones cheering this on, wanting to root out this corruption. Why can't Democrat voters, even if they hate Trump, at least agree that our tax dollars shouldn't be used to pay for all this nonsense?
So this is actually something I've thought a lot about. And I think, to me, the biggest part of it is they just don't believe it, right? And a lot of this stuff is so ridiculous. They just literally don't think it's true. I mean, I sent you another article. This one's from MSN. Dr. Steve, this article, totally legit, outlines how the federal government spent $10 million, again, of our tax dollars, to perform transgender animal experience.
Yeah, it's insane.
And again, this is a real, I mean, this is insanity.
Is a real story. This isn't Saturday Night Live.
Story.
Yeah,
but
this isn't
so
Babylon
ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. It looks like a Babylon B article, right? It looks like something some far, far right person would put out there, made up, so they think these guys are crazy. And so just in the same way, I think that Republicans like you and I don't trust what we hear on CNN, don't trust what we read in the Journal. I don't think they believe this stuff, and there's so much information coming in. I mean, it has to be. There's no way anybody is glad they worked to send $10 million for transgender animals. There's no way.
Right. No, right. Nobody's siding with waste, fraud, and abuse. Nobody's literally siding with
think.
What you would think, exactly. But they have to, they have to reconfigure it around, but Elon is evil, or this is part of Trump's Project 2025. They have to, there's got to be some kind of veneer to obfuscate the obvious. Speaking of obvious, I mean, I know the insider trading part is very real. You've been walking proof of that. You and your team have been following these insider trades for, years now. What did you say? And it to your own profit, very ethical and honest.
That's legal, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, you're just following what they're doing and you're piggybacking on it. And your portfolio is up like what, 1,900% or some insane amount like that?
Yeah, it's big. Well, when you do it consistently, we've been doing this as a service since 2017. It's actually up over 2,000% after last year. But and again, we are holding. If anybody's interested in this stuff, it's such a big loophole. It's such an opportunity to everyday Americans. I encourage you to come to this free training event. We do them every couple of months. It's this Thursday, 3 p.m. There's a link below. But the thing is just so simple. Right. And all we are doing, like you said, is following their trades. When we see several politicians or several insiders buying up a stock suddenly, all at once, with their own money for the first time in years, it's like, looks like they know something. We just buy the same stock. Right? It's not overly complicated. Right. Most people just don't realize you can see this information, that it's all free and available. So, what these scumbags have done stealing our tax dollars, there's nothing we can do about it. Right? I mean, we can't piggyback creating an NGO and siphoning off tech, not even if we wouldn't want to anyway. But we can follow along on their stock trades, right? That is all public information. We can see what stocks they're buying, and that's why we do these free training events. We show people how easy this is to do for themselves. So it's Thursday, Feb 20, 3 Eastern. It's online, totally free. I'm going to show people everything, where to find this information, what to look for, what to look out for, all of it. And look, I'll just be blunt. I mean, we have members who've made hundreds of thousands of dollars following this information. So I encourage people, at least come see what's available. See what is out there. I think you'll
come and see. That's all right.
Your eyes will be opened. Yeah.
Well, it's so true, because we get such great feedback from our viewers when you hold these events.
Thank you.
No, you do. I've been there myself. It's incredible. And they fill up so fast. And you're right. Most people, they have no idea that this is all public information, or even how common it is. I saw a story about a stock Pelosi bought last month that it's up already like 100%.
The AI company. Yeah. No, Pelosi has been the poster child for insider trading for quite a while now. I mean, there's accounts on X dedicated to just following her stock trades, because well, she's got a long history of this stuff, right? You don't make $188,000 a year and build a $200 million net worth without breaking a few rules. But yeah, she's made tens of millions of dollars on blatantly obvious insider trade. She made $4 million buying Nvidia right before she herself announced a bill giving billions in subsidies to Nvidia and the chip companies. But she's not alone. She's not the only one. They're all doing this. I mean, just 2 months ago in November, Representative Debbie Schultz, she bought stock in a company called Viasat. And what they do, they specialize in military communications equipment. Just so happens, Representative Schultz happens to sit on the House Military Construction Subcommittee.
How convenient.
What a coincidence. Isn't that convenient?
Isn't that convenient?
So a month later, again, I'm sure by pure coincidence, this company gets a $500 million military contract. A few weeks after that, they get a $4.8 billion contract with NASDAQ. Dr. Steve, this stock is up 75% the last 2 months. Right. And so, look, and now that USAID, their honey hole is getting shut down. Yeah. The corruption spending is finally getting shut down. Once these treasonous grifters no longer can steal directly from the taxpayers, they're all going to go right back to the other way they make money, which is insider trading. And so we are going to be there watching their every move, ready to profit right alongside them.
Go back to the tried and true business model method, insider trading. I love it. And you do what you do best, which is look over their shoulders. No one looks over the shoulders of these politicians like Ross Gibbons and piggybacks on them, precisely looking at these CEOs and politicians. He just looks at what they're investing in and he piggybacks and he shows you how to do it. It's brilliant. Yeah. It's simple. It's effective. So gang, you don't want to miss out on this. It's another wonderful live free training. It's this Thursday, February 20th, 3 p.m. Eastern. The event's online, so you can enjoy it from the comfort of your own couch. Ross is going to show you everything you need to know on how to trade like Pelosi, but legally and ethically. Again, we're just looking over their shoulders. And keep in mind, there is a cap, as I understand it, Ross.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. Right. Yeah, the software we use called GoToWebinar, it caps at 1,000 people. It's all the bandwidth it can hold. So once 1,000 come in, it'll cut off and you won't be able to get in. So I encourage people, go ahead and sign up early. As an added bonus, everyone who registers, we're going to send you immediately a full report, all our research on most recent insider pick. And this is going to be which insiders are buying, what the company is, all of it. And so I think when you see that, and by the way, you could make money on this as well. But when you see how obvious it is laid out and you understand what's available to you, you'll understand why you want to come to this event on Thursday. So we hope to see you all there.
And that's just for registering, right?
Just for registering, right. Yeah. So even if you can't attend, just put your email and phone number and we'll zip that over to you by email automatically. Amazing,
downside. Completely free. And if you've ever been to one of Ross's free trainings, they fill up very fast. So don't wait. You don't want to miss out on this. Click on that link below to register. Make sure to get in on the first 1,000. And I'll be there. We'll see you there on Thursday, February 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern. All right. I don't think my blood pressure got too high this time around because I think I'm just I'm getting the gist of it, Ross. It just took a little. It took you appearing here about 24 times before I finally get it. But dude, you're doing God's work, man. You're you're helping people. You're showing them how we can turn these lemons in DC into lemonade for us, for our family, for our communities. Just keep up the amazing work. Can't wait to see you on Thursday, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Dr. Steve.
You bet.